it's just one of these. It has like a, it's never, see, I can actually feel the draft right now. So it doesn't seal very well. It was in shape, and you could tell he like hammered it some. So yeah, it just kind of sits pressure for it. Our deck is in the way, so they'll get it out. I have to kind of lift it like that. I think the reason it's ill-fitting is because I think this is the lintel right here. And then
it's sagging down some.
I don't know if it's sagging or it's definitely rusted. My plan was just to take 2x4s, put one down here, one down there, screw those in if I need to, or and one across the bottom and one across the top.
So I bet they put that steel frame around it first and then mortared it in place.
Well, I got a metal grinder with a cutting wheel on it. Do you think we should just cut it free?
If we could grind off those 4 welds, then I think we could hit this and knock it back out. Right there. And right there.
So they welded
right there.
The frame to the lintel.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's cut it. I think if we cut it, it will release itself.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Once it's not a metal frame anymore, you'll just be able to pop it out.
So using a Sawzall and some of the grinders, cutting the corners, that was the magic trick to get this out. And the rest of it just came out with pry bars pretty easily. And then it was time to build the frame. My apologies for the voiceovers and stuff, but I don't have that much footage and I didn't narrate while I was doing this. But pressure treated 2x4s formed the frame for this. Just cut them to length and definitely, put it like that. Kind of had to hammer some of those in, and I put a piece of angle iron aluminum at the top there for some water protection. So for the door itself, 3/4 inch pressure treated outdoor rated plywood, and just cut it to the size of the opening. Everybody's is going to be a little different there. We use these black gate hinges, which are rated for outdoors as well, and just threw an old playground handle on there to get it open with. So here's the most important part. Along the bottom here, you're going to need to install a stop. So that's where to push to where the door is closed. It is up against that piece of wood, which was just a scrap piece of 3/4 inch plywood. So you can push the door closed and have some screw from the other side, screw that stop down. Then I went about kind of covering this thing as much as I could with some type of exterior stain. This is not paint. I mean, you could paint it, but you want something that's exterior rated here. So this is a white penetrating solid stain that I'm using up here and getting all over my hair and face and hands and stuff. And then you're going to load this thing down with caulk. So that's what I'm doing here. I use silicone caulk, just trying to seal up all those imperfections in the cut and any corners and anything that can catch water. I used about 2 tubes of caulk on this, and make sure you get up against where the wood meets the brick so you can get that sealed up real tight. Moving to the inside here with all the spiders, just showing those gaps I'm talking about. You want to caulk up all those gaps as much as you can to keep the drafts out. Probably going a little overboard here with the insulation, but I'm trying to make sure this thing keeps out the cold, keeps out the critters. So I measured and cut some foam board insulation for the doors and the back side of the door. And I come to find out if your caulk tube is frozen up, you can just cut it in half and use a knife to spread it on like a butter on a biscuit, like I just did. But yeah, this is just adhesive sealant to get that stuck on there. No judgment here on my interior caulking skills. No one's gonna see this. It's under my house. So what if it's blobby and globby? The latch I selected was this Hillman Adjustlock, and it's got this kind of handy tabs to, just in case you install it wacky or the door warps. It makes it so you can easily guide that latch back in. Keep in mind, if you need to have security, you might want to install a hasp-style lockable lock on here, but mine is not needing that much security. Either way, this thing goes on there pretty easy. Just some screws and line it up. So I really do think this is a pretty cool idea. I've definitely had ill-fitting locks before where you have to move the door to get it in there. This pretty much fixes that. So the door to be open while you go in, I used a screw and a nice zip-tied carabiner there. Tell me if you got anything better. Hold that open. And here's the finished product. It's all dried and we won't call it pretty, but functional. And that's it. That's the project. Thank you for making it this far with me. Like I said before, I was honestly putting this project off because I was unsure about it, but once I got someone to help me a little bit and talk through it, it made it so much easier, and I'm so glad that it's done now. Until next time, this is Josh saying get out there and go do some stuff.